It is Sunday, the 30th of July, 2017. I'm in front of the Unitarian Church of Montreal, and I'm looking at one of my chalk slogans that I laid down early this morning. I'm in the middle of my protest against Unitarian Universalist cover-up and denial of pedophilia and rape, and also other issues, but that's sort of the main issue on the agenda these days. Young woman stopped and was looking at this slogan. She pulled out her phone and she basically either took a photo or a video, I'm pretty sure. It looked very much, I was standing a good distance away, so I couldn't see exactly what she was doing, but it had all the appearance of her recording the slogan. And then she actually went into the church, so she wasn't just a regular passerby, she was somebody attending the Unitarian Church of Montreal. Or maybe she decided to walk in after seeing the slogan. I suppose that's a possibility. Maybe she hadn't intended to go into the church, but when she saw the slogan, she thought, oh, let's find out more, kind of thing. Anyhow, unfortunately, it seems that wasn't recorded. It seems that my camera shut off, stopped recording. It should have been recording, but I think it might have overheated, and the sensor shut off at some point and may not have recorded any of that, unfortunately. So, nonetheless, we've had some pretty good conversations this morning, and those were recorded. Basically got at least over an hour worth of video of the protest, and we'll continue. Yeah, I don't see any overheating thing, so this camera has an unfortunate habit of just stopping recording video, for no explicable reason. It just does it. And of course, when I'm walking back and forth, the camera's just hanging from my neck. I don't see the screen, so I don't know that it's stopped recording sometimes until sometime afterwards. I have to keep a closer eye on that. Anyhow, nonetheless, there was this young woman, saw the chalk slogan, almost certainly took a photo or even a video of it because she was standing there for a little while, a minute or two at least. She had her phone pointing that way for a little while, so longer than it takes to just take a photo, so she might have shot a little video clip. Who knows, might end up on Snapchat or something. But in any case, the good thing is she's someone who's gone into the Unitarian Church of Montreal, and thus suggesting, that she's, at least a visitor, maybe a potential new member, maybe an actual new member that I don't know about. I just, I don't recognize her face. Doesn't mean she isn't a member. She could have joined without my knowing it. So anyway, we'll see what comes of that, if anything. But as I was saying in the video clip, which again may have been not recorded because the camera shut off, I was talking about the fact that this gentleman associated with the Ottawa Unitarian Church, going into the Unitarian Church of Montreal, apparently for the first time, stopped and had a little chat with me about the issues. He wanted to know what the protest was about, and I told him, the basics in terms of the most recent fiasco, as it were, of the Unitarian Universalist Association hiring Stikeman Elliott Barristers and Solicitors litigation lawyer, Maître Marc-André Coulombe, to falsely accuse me of the criminal act of blasphemous libel and legal bullying intended to conceal pedophilia and rape committed by certain Unitarian Universalist ministers and certain Unitarian Universalist Sunday school teachers and a certain Unitarian Universalist layperson by the name of Richard Buell of First Parish Norwell in Massachusetts. I told him that, I, in response to that legal bullying, told the UUA that I expected them to formally withdraw that false accusation and to apologize for it. and to tell the truth about just how many Unitarian Universalist ministers, to say nothing of Unitarian Universalist Sunday school teachers, are in fact guilty of committing such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. And of course they have not done so. Well, we got some cyclists coming this way, might as well let them see the signs. So anyhow, so the thing about this conversation with this apparently international Unitarian Universalist, I mean, he apparently has been attending Unitarian Universalist churches, or at least being affiliated with Unitarian Universalism for 20 years, according to his own testimony. So he's not a newcomer. You know, he said, an apology is a sign of strength, which I agree with. You know, if you sincerely apologize for something, I'm not talking about a worthless fake apology, which there are plenty of those. But if a person actually has the personal integrity required to sincerely apologize for whatever wrongdoing they're guilty of, that it's actually a sign of strength on their part, which only underlines the incredible weakness of the Unitarian Universalist Association. And I say association because it really is the whole upper levels of leadership, all of them, all of the top level UUA administrators and all of the UUA Board of Trustees, they're all totally complicit in this. They all have done absolutely nothing to ensure that the Unitarian Universalist Association withdraws its false blasphemous libel accusation and properly and publicly apologizes for it and tells the truth about however many Unitarian Universalist ministers and Unitarian Universalist Sunday school teachers are in fact guilty of committing such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape, to say nothing of other serious sexual assault. So here we are, we're still protesting. One of the points I wanted to make in this previous clip, which may or may not have been recorded, is that I recently contacted the new president of the Unitarian Universalist Association, Reverend Susan Frederick Gray, by leaving some comments on her Facebook account. She had a post specifically about working with the UUA Board of Trustees. She spoke about the great people at the UUA Board of Trustees, and I responded by saying, well, those great people are all totally complicit in the Unitarian Universalist Association's false blasphemous libel accusation against me. And you might want to, good day, you might want to do what Reverend Peter Morales, the former president of the UUA, lacked the personal integrity to do, and that is to formally withdraw the false blasphemous libel accusation, to say nothing of some other false accusations, publicly apologize for that false blasphemous libel accusation, and disclose the truth about how many Unitarian Universalist ministers and how many Unitarian Universalist Sunday school teachers are in fact guilty of such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape, or other serious, illegal, criminal sexual misconduct. But so far I haven't heard from Reverend Susan Frederick Gray. I offered to suspend this protest for the rest of July and all of August, as long as she agreed to enter into dialogue with me, but she hasn't so far. And I made it clear that once the protest was suspended, that suspension could continue indefinitely as long as progress is being made. But so far, no.
Is this free speech?
I would hope so.
Free speech, or is it hate speech? No.
No, not really. They're kind of accusing me of hate speech.
Yeah.
The head office in Boston, like not the church locally, but the big Vatican.
But you're right for free speech.
Yeah, everything I'm doing is legal to the best of my knowledge. They've tried to bring criminal charges against me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, this is your Sunday morning too.
exactly.
Like,
No, it's funny you should say that, because there's a Unitarian minister in the United States who's concerned with the issues, clergy, sex abuse, and so on. And years ago, when I first started this, she described this as my alternative spiritual practice. So
you see, it's like Sunday morning.
That's
you
right.
go and do your
It's Sunday morning. So thanks for your support. So we got this couple come by, and the first thing they say, is this free speech? And I say, oh, I certainly hope it's free speech. I'm glad we got that all recorded. So yeah, you know, this is another issue. Is you know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, and she also brought up the issue of hate speech. You know, I don't think anything here is hate speech. I'm just telling the truth about some serious problems with the Unitarian Universalist religious community, which I'm hoping they will work to correct, but so far they're not really doing very much. And they're certainly not directly addressing my protest and blog posts and tweets and so on. You know, this is indeed good day, free speech, and it's free speech that Unitarian Universalists have gone to extreme lengths to try to suppress. And one of those extreme lengths that they've gone to is the whole issue I'm protesting about right now, mainly, is the misuse of blasphemy law. You know, they're essentially trying to suppress my free speech about Unitarian Universalist clergy sex abuse, specifically sexual abuse of children by Unitarian Universalist ministers and Unitarian Universalist Sunday school teachers and so on, by falsely accusing me of violating Canada's blasphemy law. So that's definitely a free speech issue. And I do believe I'm on the side of free speech on that issue, and that the Unitarian Universalist Association has clearly demonstrated that it's absolutely not on the side of free speech, but rather is doing its best to suppress what I'm saying, intimidate me into silence and so on, even intimidate me into removing existing blog posts. That was the primary goal of the blasphemous libel accusation. It was they wanted me to remove from the internet blog posts that told the readily verifiable truth about such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by Reverend Mac Wallace Mitchell and also by Richard Buell of First Parish Norwell in Massachusetts, because those were really the only two cases of rape, and in one case pedophilia, that I'd blogged about. There's a certain number of others, and there's certainly lots of more run-of-the-mill clergy sexual misconduct, clergy sexual abuse, you know, ministers using their congregations as harems and so on, having affairs with congregants and the partners of congregants and so on. You know, that's sort of the run-of-the-mill, you know, affairs and so on. But, you know, when it comes to pedophilia and rape, there's some other cases that have certainly happened that I haven't even blogged about yet. I mean, there's cases I know about that I haven't blogged about yet, and it's not because I'm afraid to. It's because I'm keeping it in reserve for an appropriate time. So, anyhow, just nice to have these people recognize the free speech issues aspect of this protest. And yes, it is free speech as far as I'm concerned, and actually fairly moderate free speech. You know, I mean, I'm just making pretty well factual statements. You know, Unitarian Universalist slander and libel, suck you, asterisk you. Okay, well, suck's a mildly rude word, but it's being used because Unitarian Universalists have approved its use against me, so I'm just throwing their rhetoric back at them. Unitarian Universalist perversion of justice, sucks you, asterisk you. Unitarian Universalist slander and libel, suck you, asterisk you. And of course there's the atheist UUs are accusing me of blasphemy. You know, not really hate speech, just pretty well straightforward factual statements that are easily verified unsafe sect in my right hand. Basically, it's a two-word zinger, but it's also very true. The Unitarian Universalist religious community, which former UUA president described as a tiny declining fringe religion, in other words, a sect, is, essentially, it fits the dictionary definition of the word sect. And so there's nothing, particularly hateful about using that word to describe Unitarian Universalism. And unsafe, well, yeah, it's certainly not totally safe, far from totally safe, really. I'm not saying it's like extremely dangerous either, but it's not safe. It's not safe for victims of clergy abuse, whether it's non-sexual or sexual abuse. It's not safe for, people who believe in God, expecting to, basically be able to be God-believing people and not be harassed, and yet they are harassed by atheist Unitarians who are at best condescending and are at worst outright hostile. I'm not saying all Unitarian atheists are hostile or condescending towards theists, but far too many are, and they make a good number of Unitarian Universalist congregations less than welcoming to God-believing people. But of course, unsafe sect, it really was mainly inspired by the very, very poor handling of clergy sexual misconduct. I mean, it's obviously a play on the term safe sex. I don't think that little pun goes unnoticed. So, this unsafe sect picket sign slogan was inspired by the very poor handling of clergy sexual misconduct by the Unitarian Universalist Association, to say nothing of various individuals.